Hi, I'm Elizabeth from the Newnan Carnegie Library, and today we're going to be making a paper rose out of discarded book pages. So I've got several book pages that we've cut shapes from. I have a template that I found online, and what I did was I used it to make template pieces out of cardstock, so they're a little sturdier, and then I just placed them on the book pages the way I wanted and cut the pieces in the amounts that we needed. So we needed 4 of the first size, 5 of the second size, 4 of the next size, and then 5 of each of the larger sizes. And the 3 larger sizes are gonna have a little slit cut in them, just like this, to make it easier to wrap them around the stick. So we're gonna be doing several of these videos and several other resources that we're gonna be posting to our Facebook page while we're closed down temporarily. So please pay attention to our Facebook page and look for these resources. So we have all of our little supplies laid out, and you guys can follow along at home. We have a glue gun with hot glue. You can also use cold glue to use this. Craft glue works really well. We have a florist stick, but really any kind of sturdy little stick would work. And you can get one that's already green. I wrapped mine in florist tape to make it green, and florist tape is not very sticky, but what it is it's waxed. So if you warm it between your fingers and then start to wrap it around your stick, I'll show you how. Once you get it started, if you'll keep running it along your fingers, it'll warm as you go and stick better. And so that's what I did to wrap that. I just kept it warm, and that wax sticks to itself. Makes a nice surface for you to have a little green stem for your rose. So each of these pieces we're gonna use to create our flower. And we're gonna start with our smallest ones and work out. And that we're gonna make them nice and curly so they actually look like rose petals. And for the first one, I'm actually just gonna wrap it all the way around so it's curled up real good. So let me get some glue on the inside edge. Take that extra off. And we're gonna wrap this one a little bit tight so it looks like the interior of a rosebud. Just like that. And put that about halfway down the stick. You don't want the stick to show out the top, but you do want enough of it to hold your little rosebud piece in. You can pull off any extra glue you've got. For the next pieces, you do want them to look a little bit more like flower petals. So I'm gonna use a larger stick that I've got to give them a little curl. And I do that just by wrapping it around. And warm that with your fingers too. Make the page curl a little bit better. And then bend it in the middle. And you want these to be at the same level. So when you go to glue it on, make sure it's at the same level as the piece you've already glued on. So get your little glue going. And we're gonna wrap that one just like that. And we've got our first petal. And we're gonna do our next one. You can curl these all at once ahead of time. I like to work as I go and curl them as I go. But you can do it either way. Give it that little bend. We want them curling outward just like a nice blooming flower. And we're gonna stagger them. So start about halfway at the halfway mark, so about halfway where the bend is, and wrap all the way around. And so the next flower is going to start where the bend in the second one is, the next flower petal. Give it a little curl. And a little bend, and a little glue. start the edge at that bend. So you can see we've got all 3 petals staggered around a little bit. Looks just like a natural flower, and we're going to continue that kind of pattern. And I'm sliding up and down my stick, so I'm going to put a little dot of glue at the bottom here to give it a little sturdiness, so it'll stay put. I'm gonna let that dry while my next petal gets its curl. So we're moving up to the next size. Dropped a little glue stick on the floor, I'll get that later. Give us a good little curl to the petal. And I've got a pin here because when I get to my bigger petals, I'm going to give them a curl with the pin because they'll be bigger. Make sure you get glue at least on both sides and a little in the middle. And again, find your bend and start the outside edge. And you want to go down just a little bit lower. So here's the bottom of that internal petal, and here's the bottom of that one. So not a whole lot lower, but just a little bit lower with your next set of petals. So you can see it kind of gives you a good little shape going there. Get your curl and your bend. A little glue going. And like I said, you don't have to use the hot glue. I know sometimes it's easy to burn yourself. You can use the cold craft glue. Michaels has a good selection of craft glues. And don't forget to stagger your petals so they're just overlapped like that. I'm gluing myself to the flower. Find our halfway mark, stagger our petals. There we go. You can always add to your curls and your crinkles with your fingers to give it a little texture. Tuck that in tight. Whoa, we're spider webbing. There we go. Pull off that extra glue so you don't get stuck to yourself. And we're going to keep repeating our patterns. Don't forget to stagger your petals. There we go. Find our halfway mark. All right. This can be very soothing, the repetitive work, especially if you just want to put something relaxing on the TV in the background, a little music. Lots of live streaming concerts are happening right now, from what I understand. I know the Metropolitan Opera is streaming some operas for people, so I'm sure there are probably some classical concerts too. Some good bop and rock music might be good. Whatever you feel like listening to. And just let your mind relax while you fold your petals. This is my favorite thing to do in the evening when it's quiet. Don't forget to drop down just a little bit, about a 1/4 inch on each successive row of petals. That gives you a blooming effect. See? There we go. once we open back up, we'll have some of these in-person classes again, but in the meantime, you guys can just follow along at home. I know this book page rose one was a popular one. And I made some of these and put them in my wedding bouquet when I got married. So you can make a whole bunch of these and make yourself a whole bouquet of roses to put on your table. The spiders have got me. It's a good thing to do with books that are being discarded instead of just putting them in the trash. I like to recycle. We call this upcycling. Turn it into something beautiful instead of just throwing it away. There we go. I have another friend that I made recently. She said, I make all my art out of trash. I think that's a fun thing to do. Find stuff that was gonna be gotten rid of anyway and turn it into something beautiful. Bring that one around here a little bit. Looks like it needs to be in that spot. There we go. Okay. Now we're about to move into our bigger petals. So I'm gonna show you what we get to do with this. When we go to put this on the stick, these are gonna overlap each other a little bit to turn our petals into a nice curve. So I'm gonna curl these with the pen because they're bigger. And we want the curves to be a little more pronounced. So make sure and pay attention to that you've got glue on both sides good. Because when we put these on, what we want to do is get the first side glued on and then tuck a little bit. So see, tuck that on top of the side that you just glued down. And then tuck it up good so that your petal shows up under there real good. And I'll do another one real quick for you. Walk you through each of those steps good so you know what you're doing. And you're just gonna keep repeating that with each of these big petals that have the slit in the middle. So when you go to put this one on, just glue the first side down like that. And then take this and tuck it over the other side. So it goes, here's where our first side is glued down, over the other side a little bit. And then push your petal into the rose. And you can keep shaping as you go so that your overlapping petals kind of push into each other. And if you find you're sliding up and down your stick a little bit, keep adding a little dot of glue to the base. Just try to get it to stay put. Try not to burn yourself if you're using the hot glue. I'm bad about burning myself, especially at home when I'm cooking. And George makes me wear a welder's apron when I cook, made out of leather, because I burn myself a lot. So we're gonna overlap that, and then whoop, don't lose your stick. Push it up. There we go. Push those petals up. Just keep on repeating our patterns until we've got them all on there. And the other thing you can do is once you get all your rose petals on, if you want to take some of your book pages and cut out some leaf shapes, and you can color them green with either markers or watercolor, whatever suits you. And you can glue those around the base of your rose and let them come off this way. Make it a little more realistic if you like. Or you can even buy leaves that are already done off silk flowers. You know, Michael's carries a bunch of stuff like that to add to your bouquet. Get your little baby's breath and put in your flower vase. Makes it all very nice. Let's see here. My glue gun tried to escape. I caught it. Oh, don't escape me. The good thing about these is you can keep shaping them as you go, so you're never stuck with it the way it is when you put it on there. You can keep on shaping. Need another glue stick in here. There we go. Getting us a good bloom going. Getting close to being done. And you can make these different sizes too, so you can use all 5 sizes of the petals, or you can stop after the 4th size so that you've got different size roses in your bouquet as well. We're going to use all 5 sizes and make a nice big rose. Last one, so our biggest size. I'm going to get them all nice and curled.
after you get them on, you can add extra curl to your petals anytime you want. So if you don't think they're curled enough, you can always add a little extra curl to them. Just like that. Oops. And shape them. So it's got a few more petals to go. There we go. Get the shape going. All right. Extra glue on my fingernails. There we go. And we're going to put one last petal there. And we're going to have a big, beautiful bloom all finished and ready to go. That last little curl in it. All right. And like I said, you can make them as big or small as you like, but that's our book page rose tutorial.